evening, darling. So I received a question from an anonymous person who asks, Dear Thronduil, I was wondering if elves suffer from allergies. I'm a Dwaro lad, and my sweetheart is a hobbit, so obviously they have all these things with flowers at every party and celebration and home, but I get all swollen-eyed and wheezy in close proximity. Do you have any suggestions on how to go about wooing them without causing offense or embarrassment to my house? Oh dear. Well, let me say first of all, we don't really elves. We don't have allergies of this sort in any way. Not to flowers or blooming trees or grasses or any of that. Our only real allergy, and I think I've mentioned it before, is iron. It's more of a skin irritation, darling. It's not serious by any means. Don't bother trying to go about messing with elves with a little bit of iron. It's just rude, darling. Don't do that. So let's get on to your actual question, which is very serious. So you are asking sort of what you can do about it. Well, let's have a little bit of a demonstration here. Let me wheel in. I've got these lilies that were part of sort of an arrangement that I had lying around. I pulled them out just for this. So we're going to take a look at the stamen, okay, which we want to sort of ignore the center stigma here, which is the tallest part, and we're going to focus, like I said, on the stamen, which of course is the filament, and then on top is the anther. And the anther is of course what's causing your problem, darling, because the anther is where all of the pollen is. You can even see sort of the grains of pollen have fallen off of the anther onto the petals. So what you want to do, sort of, if you have some disposable gloves or any kind of thing to cover your hand, especially with your allergy, you'll want to do that. You can even put a mask on to sort of keep from breathing in any of the pollen granules. Or if your hobbit is willing to do it for you, to sort of remove them. I'm just going to use a little bit of tissue here. So what you're going to do is you're going to want to remove the anther from the filament. You can cut it if you want. Just cut the filament right sort of here below the anther. But you will stain probably your scissors anywhere that the pollen is going to fall. If it gets onto your clothes, I know this is a big concern for many people. Actually, what are they called? You see them sort of in crafting shops. I think they're called something like pipe cleaners or something. Just these tiny little pieces of wire with sort of fuzzy bits on the outside. And you can use that to gently brush off any that gets on your clothing. Don't wipe it off hard, or of course you're going to stain your clothing. So we're going to just use this little tab of tissue here. What you're going to do is just firmly grasp the anther and just remove it from the filament. It should come off with sort of a pop. So just sort of firmly pull, and then you have it all wrapped up in here. Now the sooner you can get to removing it, so sort of as soon as it opens, if you can pull them off then, there's actually no pollen granules usually on the outside of the anther. It's still contained within. It sort of has to split open to let its pollen out. So if you or your hobbit could sort of go around and remove that from most of the flowers, it should reduce your allergies. It's not foolproof by any means, but it should sort of help. And of course you can use that pipe cleaner thing to sort of brush off the petals if you sort of are leaving a bit, especially with light colored flowers, darling. You don't want all this brown orange mess everywhere. And of course if you use your hands, they're going to be stained sort of a yellowish orange, and anything that you use to wipe is going to be that way as well. So I hope that this was helpful. If not, I just sort of suggest you get a bit of a poultice or some sort of tablet medication of some sort or another you can take to try to help, although I know some of them make you sort of drowsy, but I don't have any experience since I don't suffer from any allergies. So have a good evening, darling. Ta-ta.